Command Center or COMCEN, 1,000 pesos to 3,000 pesos for the Assessment Operations Coordinating Group or AOCG, 1,500 pesos to 3,000 pesos for the Intelligence Group or IG, 3,000 pesos to 10,000 pesos for CIIS Central, 500 pesos to 1,000 pesos for CIIS Director's Office, 1,000 pesos to 3,000 pesos for the Intellectual Property Rights Division or IPRD, 1,000 pesos to 2,000 pesos for the Accounts Management Office or AMO, 1,000 pesos to 3,000 pesos for the Import and Assessment Service or IAS. For the Manila International Container Port and Port of Manila, 9,000 pesos to 15,000 pesos for the section heads, appraisers, and examiners in the Formal Entry Division for both MICP and POM. 1,000 pesos to 3,000 pesos for the Informal Entry Division for both MICP and Port of Manila. 3,000 pesos each for the MICP and the Port of Manila Collector's Office. 500 pesos to 1,000 pesos for the CIIS Port for both MICP and POM. 500 pesos for Enforcement and Security Service for both MICP and POM. 500 pesos to 1,000 pesos for both MICP and POM. 200 pesos for the Piers and Inspection Division for both MICP and POM. 1,000 pesos to 3,000 pesos for the Deputy District Collector of the Port of Manila. Official records from the Bureau of Customs disclose that on the average, around 15,000 to 16,000 containers are transacted for release every week at the Manila International Container Port and the Port of Manila. Of this, between 6,000 to 6,400 are approximately 40% of the total weekly containers have TARA. Mr. President, meron po tayong tinatawag na mga big players. Sila ang mga halos naghahari o namamayagpag sa pagpapalabas ng mga kargamento sa customs. A total of 390 to 490 containers per day or 1,950 to 2,450 containers weekly are being facilitated by the so-called big players, broken down as follows. 100 to 110 containers, care of David Tan. 800 to 100 containers, Davao Group. Taguba belongs to this group. 800 to 100 containers, care of Manny Santos. 800 or 80 to 100 containers by the Teves Group. 50 to 80 containers by Kimberly Gamboa. Finally, Mr. President, here are the recipients of the TARA Payola at the Bureau of Customs. Commissioner Nicanor Paeldon. Deputy Commissioner Teddy Rabal of the Intelligence Group. Deputy Commissioner Ariel Nepomuceno, Enforcement Group. Deputy Commissioner Gerardo Gambala of the Command Center. Deputy Commissioner Natalio C. Ecarma III of the Revenue Collection Monitoring Group or RCMG. Deputy Commissioner Edward James D. Buco of the Assessment and Operations Coordination Group or AOCG. Director Neil Estrella, Customs Intelligence and Investigation Service. He is alleged to collect also for the Office of the Commissioner, together with Chris Bulastig. Attorney Zay De Guzman, Chief Intellectual Property Rights Division. Attorney Larry Bert Hilario of Risk Management Office. Joel Pinawin, OIC Chief Intelligence Division of the BOC, also one of the alleged collectors of Director Estrella. Director Milo Mastrecampo, Import and Assessment Service, IAS. Attorney Grace Malabed, Acting Chief of the Account Management Office or AMO. Attorney Alvin H. Ebreo, Director Legal Service under Revenue Collection Monitoring Group or RCMG. All section heads, appraisers, and examiners in the Formal Entry Division in both the Manila International Container Port and Port of Manila. Athena Dance of the Informal Entry Division MICP. All section heads, appraisers, and examiners in the Informal Entry Division in the Port of Manila. MICP and POM, Sections 1, 9, 10, and 15 chief appraiser and examiner. For the district collectors and officers, the following names were mentioned: Collector Jet Moranilla of the MICP, Collector Rhea Gregorio of DPOM, Collector Edgar Macabeo of NAIA, Collector Elvira Cruz of Cebu, Collector Marites Martin of Clark, Collector Mimel Talusan of Subic, Collector Reynaldo Galeno of Batangas, Deputy Collector Mel Pascual for the Port of Manila. One is already deceased, Captain Ticoy Gutierrez of Enforcement and Security Service, MICP. He was replaced by a certain Orduña. Mr. President, an unimpeachable source provided me with information involving a prominent customs official listed above. For the period covering May 16 to June 28, 2017, Mr. Customs official's total encashment amounted to 5,109 pesos with the following breakdown. 1.5 million peso check deposit on May 16, 2017. 1.2 million pesos check encashment on June 1, 2017. 699,000 pesos encashment on June 5, 2017. 1 million pesos encashment on June 8, 2017. 910,000 pesos encashment on June 19, 2017. 1.3 million pesos encashment on June 28, 2017. The TARA system, Mr. President, shows that there is a systemic corruption in the Bureau. In fact, for almost every office and official receiving their share of TARA, the Bureau can give the mafia stiff competition. Mr. President, the Supreme Court in a ruling said we cannot afford to fail either in combating the drug menace or in protecting the individual rights and liberties we have enshrined in our Constitution. Mafia. Either way, stiff. The consequences of continued failure are hard to imagine. Competition. The drug problem cannot be solved by focusing on
Mr. President, the Supreme Court in a ruling said we cannot afford to fail either in combating the drug menace or in protecting the individual rights and liberties we have enshrined in our Constitution. Either way, the consequences of continued failure are hard to imagine.
We have always embarked
the drug problem cannot be solved by focusing on the demand reduction alone or effort alone. Hindi pa ba sapat ang isang taon at libo-libong napatay ng mga pulis at vigilantes para makita at mapatunayan natin ito? Since my days in law enforcement, Mr. President, we have always embarked on a two-pronged strategy in combating illegal drugs: demand or market constriction and supply reduction. True, hunting down big-time as well as small-time pushers and drug addicts in the streets may suppress
the supply
the drugs market.
The anti-drugs strategy is failing miserably. Parang gripo, patuloy ang daloy ng illegal drugs sa bayan, toneladang illegal na droga. This runs counter to the policy adopted by the state as enunciated in Section 101, Republic Act 10863, otherwise known as the Customs Modernization and Tariff Act, to wit, it is the policy of the state to protect and enhance government revenues, institute fair and transparent customs and tariff management that will efficiently facilitate international trade, prevent and curtail any form of customs fraud and illegal acts, and modernize customs and tariff administration. This policy is in recognition of the important role that the Bureau of Customs plays in being the first line of defense against the threats that arise from international trade. The problems that our country is facing now, such as smuggling, fraud, and drug trafficking, can effectively be lessened if we only fortify our first line of defense on border management. Thus, it is incumbent upon us to address this Bureau of Customs issue head-on and at its core. There is a saying that every time we need to solve problems, we should dig at the roots instead of just hacking at the leaves. If we intend to remain committed to the war on drugs, we need a war on corruption. Mr. President, I have known the newly appointed Customs Chief, General Sid La Peña, as an honorable man. In fact, I can personally vouch for his integrity. With his appointment as the new Customs Chief, I can only hope and pray na hindi siya kainin ng sistema tulad ng nauna sa kanya. His highest calling at the moment is to descend to the gates of hell and destroy the brazen corruption within the country's most corrupt government agency. General La Peña needs to institutionalize genuine reforms, and by genuine reforms, that would mean the abolition of the corruption system from top officials down to the last rank and file in the Customs Bureau. Mr. President, I believe nothing will happen if we do not address the moral bankruptcy that is intrinsic among the officials and members of the Bureau of Customs. We should not turn our heads too far from the deeper issue that holds back the progress of our nation. Henceforth, it is also high time to send off an all-out, sustained war against corruption. And the battle starts at the Bureau of Customs. I firmly believe, then and now, that it is the only way we can build a better, more progressive future for this country. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Lacson.
President, may we recognize Senator Aquino to...
Senator Aquino is recognized.
Senator Lacson will agree to be interpreted.
Thank you, Majority Floor Leader. Unang-una po sa lahat, let me commend the good gentleman for his report. Maraming salamat, Senator Lacson.
Thank you very much. Maraming salamat din po, Your Honor.
Senator Lacson, would you be amenable? Mr. President, would you be amenable to a few questions?
Yes, of course. My pleasure, my privilege.
Mr. President, ito pong nailabas niyo pong data, marami pong mga nagbigay po sa inyo ng datos na yan. No? And we had been talking previously that you had cross-referenced a lot of the data before you gave your privilege speech.
Yes, that is correct, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President.
Mr. President, yung mga lumalabas pong mga paratang ni Mark Taguba dun sa ating Blue Ribbon Committee hearings, does it coincide with the data that you have received? Mukha po bang nagsasalita ng totoo, nagsasabi po ng totoo, o mali-mali po yung mga binibigay po niyang mga pangalan at mga datos dun sa komite?
Yung testimonya ni Mark Taguba, ang una naming natanggap na dokumento, at tama po, tumatama iyon sa mga iba pang mga listahan at dokumento na nakarating sa aming opisina. Dangan nga lang at kulang yung kay Mark Taguba. Hindi po nahagip yung ibang mga information na nakapaloob dito sa ating privilege speech.
Pero dun po sa mga naibigay niya mga pangalan, mukhang tumatama naman po dun sa nakuha po niyong data.
Hindi lang mukhang tumatama, talagang tumama ang kanyang mga sinabi.
Secondly, Mr. President, I'd like to ask about the culpability of our customs officials. No? Kasi clearly, at nasabi ko rin po ito sa media, it's either napaka-negligent po nila na nangyari po yung pagpasok ng droga o kasama sila dun sa pagpasok ng droga. Pero sabi ko nga rin po, mukhang may third possibility, which is dahil sa TARA system, pinapalampas na lang po nila yung pagpasok ng mga container, at dahil sa kanilang pagpasok ng mga container dahil po sa TARA, may nakalusot na droga. I would just like to visit, ano po yung teorya po ng ating good gentleman po? Ano po sa tingin ninyo yung nangyari kaya nakapasok po yung ganong karaming droga sa ating bansa nung Mayo at nung mga nakaraang buwan pa po?
Pareho po ng teorya ninyo na dahil nga natakpan na ng pera yung mga mata, hindi na sila nag-iisip kung droga ba o kung anumang kontrabando ang laman ng container, kaya labas-pasok na lamang o tuloy-tuloy sa paglabas. Hindi na nila iniisip na kung may drogang laman ang container, pwedeng yung mga kamag-anak, mga kaibigan at mga anak nila, mga kaibigan at anak ng mga anak ng mga kaibigan nila, ang pwedeng tamaan. Dahil nga talagang sarado na yung mga mata, sabi mo kitang-kita ang kita.
Opo. At yun yung nakita nila. Hindi kung ano dapat yung laman ng
container. Kasi kung may kita, walang makikita.
Wala akong nakita. Okay. So, in short, Mr. President, you subscribe to the possibility na baka nga hindi naman talaga sila kasama dun sa pagpasok ng droga, Pero dahil sa korupsyon at dahil po sa sistema po ng korupsyon sa customs, kumbaga naging complicit na rin sila dahil pinikit po nila yung kanilang mata. What do you think is the liability of the officials who may not necessarily have been part of bringing in illegal drugs, pero dahil po sa kanilang corrupt system, ay naging kasama na rin po sila sa ganyang sistema?
Maliwanag po sa Section 28 in relation to Section 4 ng RA 9165, yung importation. Wala pong distinction na rito kung kayo ba ay accessory or accomplice. Kapag ang pinag-usapan ay illegal na droga, lalo na merong indispensable cooperation. Yung Bureau of Customs, kasi kung hindi naman sila tumanggap ng tara, hindi makakalusot yung 5 cylinders at yung 3 pang cylinders na nauna. At God knows kung ilan pa yung mga cylinders pa o ilan pang tonelada ng droga na malusot. So, I think Section 28 could very well apply to those customs officials na dinaanan o may kinalaman doon sa pagpaproseso ng dokumento para makalabas yung container. Lalo pa nga under questionable circumstances.
In short, Mr. President, they are as liable as if sila mismo yung nagpasok ng droga.
Parang principal po.
Ganun po sa ating batas.
Sa ating batas.
Opo.
Maaari po tayo tulungan ng mga magagaling natin abogado, pero yun po yung aking pagkaintindi at sa pagtatanong ko na rin sa aking mga staff na abogado, ganun din po ang interpretation.
Definitely po, kung ilipat man po si Commissioner File doon, hindi po siguro dapat sa isang pwesto kung saan maaari ang droga ay issue or sa tingin niyo po dapat hindi na siya mailipat sa isa pang posisyon sa ating gobyerno?
Kung halimbawa lang kung mapapakinggan tayo ng Pangulo, mas maganda po huwag nang bigyan ng ibang posisyon. Dahil sa aming mga napag-alaman, sa aming pananalisik, sa mga voluntaryong binigyan ng mga impormasyon, ito na yun, hindi naman ito pwedeng basta i-disregard o baliwalain dahil mismong sa loob ng Bureau, sabi ko nga kanina, top level, middle level, rank and file, meron pang broker, meron pang player na nagbigay sa amin ng information. Ito nga yung sinabi natin na filter natin ng maayos. Alam niyo po, masakit man sa ating dibdib dahil yung iba sa aking nabanggit na mga pangalan, mga kaibigan ko pa po. Pero kung magiging selective din lang ako at dahil kaibigan o kakilala, hindi ko i-delist ko nga ang ibang mga pangalan, hindi na lang po ako mag-privilege speech.
Mr. President, ano pong hinahanap natin na mga susunod na mga hakbang dito po sa inyong privilege speech? At siguro po, I'm predicting of course the Blue Ribbon report will also come out possibly with similar conclusions. Kasi po, meron nung kayong naipakita na kaso 6 years ago at parang gano'n yung nangyayari. May skandalo, magkakaroon ng hearing, magiging media event, pero pagkatapos po nun, babalik na naman sa dating gawin dahil wala naman po talagang nakakasuhan o wala naman po talagang napaparusahan. Ano po yung ini-expect po ninyo dun sa na mangyayari dun po sa mga officials po na binanggit po ninyo at dito po sa sistema ho na nilahad niyo po sa atin?
One word, very important word, sustain. Kasi pagka pinabayaan natin ito at hindi natin in-exercise yung ating oversight, authority over the executive offices or agencies, then talagang mapapabayaan na naman ito. So, I am hoping and I'm assuming that this privilege speech will be referred to the Blue Ribbon Committee. And I hope I have contributed some input or some data to the chairman para maidagdag sa kanilang, ma-incorporate sa kanilang gagawing committee report or maidagdag pa kapag may mga pinatawag pang ibang mga resource persons.
Mr. President, finally, yung problema ho natin sa customs, hindi lang naman ho yan sa tao. Of course, si Ginoong La Peña is now there and you wished him well. Pero kahit sino pa po yan, no? Kung yung sistema na ibulok, kahit ilagay pa po nyo po dyan ang isang santo, palagay ko po magpapatuloy yan. No? Kung di man siya kasama sa kanyang paligid, magpapatuloy po yan. Ano po yung hakbang na kailangan po natin para maitigil na itong sistemang ito? At yung perang yan, mabayad ng maayos sa gobyerno, hindi ho mawalan ng revenue ang ating gobyerno at matigil na po yung pagpasok ng mga kontrabando sa ating bansa.
Sa akin pong karanasan bilang namuno rin sa PNP at saka namuno rin ng mga aking mga tauhan sa mas mababang level ng command. Ang sa amin pong pag-aaral at sa training, ito lang po ang napaka-importante, leadership by example. No? Kasi it is second to none. There is no substitute to that dictum, yung leadership by example. Kasi kapag yung namumuno, yung kanyang pinipreach, yung kanyang sinasabi, hindi naman niya ginagawa o ginagawa niya yung laban sa kanyang pinapatupad, wala pong susunod sa kanya. Ang napaka-importante, pakita niya na siya mismo bilang pinuno, ginagawa niya yung kanyang pinag-uutos. Dahil pagtalikod niya, sasabihin ng mga tauhan niya, bakit ikaw lang ba? Paano naman kami? Pero kapag ang nakita na yung pinuno nila na consistent ang ginagawa, na namumuno by good example, maski yung mga kawatan doon, palagi ko kung hindi man mahiya, matatakot. Dahil alam nilang seryoso yung pinuno, alam ba, si General Peña, and I said it before, na I can vouch for his personal integrity. And I just hope that he continues leading by example. I hope I'm not mistaken sa pagsasabing kilala ko siya na ganong ka-honorabling tao at saka mataas yung kanyang integridad. And I hope na yung kanyang gagawin sa bureau, sa kanyang pamumuno, maging consistent lang. Kasi mabubulag talaga, imagine. Yun nga, kalat naman ito sa Bureau of Customs. Sabi ko nga, 4 corners of the Bureau of Customs compound. Kalat na kalat naman yung pag-upo pa lamang, meron niyang pasalubong. At hindi mo naman natatago kasi it takes 2 to tango. Hindi naman pwedeng sabihin, tumanggap ka, na ikaw lamang nakakaalam. Siyempre, alam nung nagbigay sa iyo, alam noong nagpabigay, at may mga dinaanan pa yon na alam din siyempre na meron nangyaring transaksyon. So, yun, consistency and leadership by good example. Yun lang po nakita kong formula. At sa atin naman panig sa Kongreso, sa Senado, dapat wag nating bitiwan ito. Kasi after all, magpapasa tayo ng train, papasa tayo ng tax reform. Pagkatapos malalaman natin na pag kinuwenta mo, imagine 1,200 plus containers a day. At ito'y pag-usapan natin, MICP lamang ito at saka POM. 2 ports lang ito. Of course, Batangas, Cebu, may mga containers din dyan. Hindi na rin hagip noong mga nakunan natin information. And I would like to pursue na mangalap pa rin information tungkol do sa mga ports na yon. Dahil sigurado ko, ganun din ang kalakaran. So, wag natin bitiwan itong issue na ito at lahat tayo magtulong-tulong na manaliksik din at ating sa pamamagitan ng ating oversight function, pwede natin silang patawag. At pag alam na lang tayo, palagi ang nakabantay, I don't think, kasi pag nag-slacking din tayo, babalik eh.
Yes, Mr.
Ganun
President.
po.
Mr. President, medyo nakukulangan ho ng espasyo yung calculator ko dito. I'm sure nabilang niyo na rin naman. Meron ho ba kayong numero kung magkano po yung nawawala sa gobyerno? Roughly 40,000 ho yan times 2,400 containers per week.
Ang kanilang kinakatwiran, naging 40,000 na lamang yung benchmark dahil sa APTA. Pero yun nga kasi pagka sinabi nating formal entry, ito yung $500 or more
And up.
And up, tapos commercial.
Opo.
Pag informal, ito yung below $500 and personal. Pero napakalaki ng diskresyon ng mga dinadaanan ng mga kargamento tulad lang nung sistema na ito. Yung selectivity, yung sa lane. Nalaman natin sa pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon nang nag-i-encode, mismo broker. So ang tanong natin, kung ang broker alam niya may kontrabando, alam niya may shabu, ba't naman siya dadaan sa red na ma-x-ray siya? Tulad ng nangyari nitong sa 600 kilograms. Ito sana hindi nakalusot dahil merong red flag Na red flag ito sa pamamagitan ng isang report at sinabing nagkapareho yung 2 shipment. Bakit parehong-pareho yung babayaran taripa? Yung VAT, hindi taripa. Kasi VAT na lang ang sinisingil. Kung sineryoso lamang yung red flag na yon, siyempre hindi dadaan sa green lane yung 1547 yata yung numero ng container, idadaan nyo sa x-ray o kaya may physical inspection. At pag nakita na hindi footwear, kasi ang declaration footwear, at nakakita ng cylinders, misdeclared na yon. So bubuksan nila yon. So hindi na makakarating sa Venezuela. But sabi nga natin, may human intervention, at yun nga, natatakpan na ng sign of pesos yung kanilang mga mata. So talagang, sige na. Alam nyo, nung araw may mga customs commissioners na ang kanilang kondisyon. Ano? Ito yung sabihin na nating medyo may pag-iisip. Sabi nila, maski ano, okay lang mag-usap tayo, wag lang droga, wag lang baril. Yun na yung sa libro natin, masasabi natin, ito yung mabait na commissioner, may konsensya, pero wala pa rin konsensya dahil nga may tara pa rin.
Oo. Pero at the minimum doon, may mga bawal. Eh mukhang yung nangyari yung ngayon, wala nang bawal.
Nawala na ng bawal kasi nga masyadong malaki na yung tara. Masyadong duduguin yung inyong daliri sa inyong calculator sa kapukwenta kung ilang zero yung aabutin. Kami mismo ay maniwala. Alam nyo, merong isang customs official. At the outset, nung nakita namin ang pangalan, sabi ko mukhang malabo yata ito. Kaya dapat i-vet natin mabuti itong mga listahan. Kasi itong particular na customs official, sa akin paniniwala, dahil nakapagtanong din ako sa iba, ito'y matino ito'y hindi tumatanggap, ito'y matagal na rin sa customs. Eh nung nagkakaroon kami ng pagdududa, ang ginawa ko po ay tumago ko sa aking ibang kakilala sa Intelligence Service, Armed Forces. Pwede pa paki-background check mo lang ito kasi malaki yung pagdududa ko na baka naman masama ito sa listahan namin, eh unfair naman. Dahil sa pagtatanong namin sa iba, eh mukhang matino naman. Aba, eh ang report na binigay sa amin nung isa, nung mismo nagsagawa nung background investigation, kumanaya sa sabong 200, 300 ang parada. Merong cock farm. Pagkatapos may mga mansions. 200,000 hanggang 300,000 kada pusta. Eh sabi ko, isama nyo na sa listahan. Dahil, paano ka makakataya naman sa sabong ng 200, 300 na hindi ka naman si Manny Pacquiao?
Hindi na lang nagsusugal.
Hindi na pala.
Mr. President, okay, so may listahan ho tayo. Ano pong expectation ho natin? Kasi I'm sure pati po yung taong bayan nagsasabi, marami namang accusations nangyayari sa Senado. Wala namang kaso. So, who will take the cudgels for us? Ngayon po na may listahan, kailangan pa po yung ma-verify o ma-investigate? Will it be DOJ? Will it be the Ombudsman? Saan po tayo papunta dito?
Well, ito, kung ebidensya ating pag-uusapan at kakailanganin talaga yung matibay na ebidensya, kailangan pa natin ng marami siguro Mark Taguba na magsasabi kasi may direct hindi ba? Pero kung salamat sa mga informasyon, knowing it is one thing, but proving it is another and the harder thing.
Siguro kung nasa listahan kayo, baka dapat nag-uunahan na po yan na magsabi ng totoo. Baka pwede pa sila mag-apply sa Witness Protection Program o mag-state
Isa po mamamaraan nyo, kapag tayo ay nakakuha ng ganon, eh, malamang talaga mabuwag natin yung, alam nyo, binanggit na ng Pangulo ito, yung Bureau of Customs sabi niya, rotten to the core. Eh talagang ganon na nangyayari. Kami, nagulat nga rin, bakit wala na kayong makitang, kapag winalis nyo, wala may iwan eh. Ganon ang, kung titingnan natin yung listahan. At ito, sabi ko nga, I stand by the credibility because various sources, binibilang namin yung sources nito, siguro hindi lang 7 o 8, masigit pa. Bukod pa yung ginawa namin pagbabalidate sa independent sources na hindi na nagbahagi ng kanilang listahan, pero sinusuga nila, sinabi na totoo yan. So, sabi ko nga, ako I stand by the credibility of the tara list that we have in our possession.
Alright, Mr. President, maraming salamat sa inyong oras, and again, I commend the good gentleman for his privileged speech. Maraming salamat.
Salamat po. Thank you, Mr. President.
We recognize Senator Cynthia Villar, Mr. President, and then Senator Gordon.
Senator Villar, sir.
I just want to make a manifestation dun sa mga names na binasa mo. I remember in 2013 when we reviewed the rice smuggling, 2 names doon ang nasa listahan mo, David Tan and Manuel Santos. And then yung aming investigation ng 2014 sa garlic cartel at garlic smuggling, nandun yung name ni Lea Cruz sa listahan mo. So ito ay parang support na ito yung mga names na nakita na rin namin in other investigation of the Senate. And ang kinalulungkot natin na walang na-file na kaso miski isa dito sa mga tao na to. And I remember during that time, I was working with Mr. Sevilla, Commissioner Sevilla of the Bureau of Customs. And I was talking to him and he said, ano ba iiwanan mong legacy sa Bureau of Customs? Kasi ikaw naman ay bata, walang pamilya, may kaya, hindi mo kailangan ng pera. Ang sabi niya is before I leave, which was then 1 year before the end of President Aquino's term, sabi niya yung National Single Window System. This is the full computerization of the customs para wala ng discretion yung mga tao doon, basta lahat ipo-process by computerization. And I hope we will be able to proceed with this kasi after talking to him on a Monday, he was removed on a Wednesday. And pagkatapos kinasuhan na yung supplier ng National Single Window System, kaya hindi na ituloy ito hanggang ngayon. So this might be a solution, the full computerization of our customs division. And I remember, because of walang nakasuhang kaso noon, kami po ng mga senador in 2016, we passed a law, the large-scale agri-smuggling as economic sabotage and non-bailable. And natapos na po ang IRR niyan ngayong July. Sana po ay ma-i-apply na yan para nang sa ganon, baka naman kung makasuhan yung iba, ay tumigil na sila sa kanilang mga ginagawa sa ating Bureau of Customs. Yun lang po. Marami pong salamat.
Salamat po. I could not but agree with the lady from Las Piñas, the distinguished lady from Las Piñas in the Republic of the Philippines. Tama po yung observation.
Senator Richard Gordon, Mr. President.
Senator, I think he left the hall. Majority Leader.
He's here, Mr.
Okay.
President.
Senator Gordon is here. Senator Gordon is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, and with apologies to the sponsor. Would the gentleman yield, please?
No, by all means, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, first of all, let me congratulate you for a very expansive and very telling expose. Of course, now it has laid the predicate for us to open Pandora's box, so to speak. I'm happy that you delineated every position that takes Tara, that's on the take. But now I don't consider it a hard part, but as you say, with the help of other Tagubas, and by the way, I'm not really totally sure about Taguba because he's very selective. I would like to seek your help in so far as understanding of
observation. As a matter of fact, we find him a selective witness.
Yes, Your Honor. My Honor, the 5 million pesos that was withdrawn from the bank, that's certainly good information. And how would we pry open that box? Literally. I think you and I know who that guy is. The trick now is to open his own box of 5 million because it has already been withdrawn.
He can always waive his rights under the Bank Secrecy Act because, after all, if it was his account, he can actually
He will not
well. That is why. That's why I'm suggesting if he's really sincere and honest in his desire to break wide open this particular issue, then he should be convinced to waive his rights under 1405.
And that's what I was trying to figure out even with the Senate President just a while ago. Because we already had that information and I know you had it and we wanted to try and pry it open. But I think we can be very imaginative insofar as that is concerned, including Faldon, who I understand gets 10 to 19,000 per box, including all the others. Let's say, no, I cannot help but observe.
The 5 to 10,000 pesos per container is actually for the office of the commissioner. I don't know the division or the apportionment of the 5,000 to 10,000 per container per day. At ang dumadaan po na containers every day, nasa mga 1,200 plus containers. So, mahirap po magkwenta.
Is a gentleman suggesting that this is only for one section? There are 15 sections.
There are 15 sections. There are selected sections, I think 1, 9, 10, 15, not all sections.
That's
Pero
right.
lahat yan merong
May tara. That's why mababa pa ito nakikita natin. That's why ako po, I took the totality of the container movement in our country of 4 million and divided by 365 days. And then you multiply it by the tara. And if you have, as I pointed out yesterday, a tara of, if 40,000 was allocated to the government, ang lalabas po ay kikitain ng gobyerno ay 146 billion.
Yes.
And that's a lot of money already. That pays for the excise taxes. If it goes up to 120, which was Bert Linas and Sevilla's intention, na hanggang 170 pa. Sa 120, we would get about 458 billion, and sa 170,000, it would be 620.5 billion. Lampas na, we don't even have to increase taxes. But as you know, as we all know, the other part of the coin here is BIR.
Yes.
Because if customs allows it to go out, BIR should be able to track down the VAT that goes into the transfer of the products that go in to the country. So, I noticed only that BIR has not been sending a representative to the Blue Ribbon for 2 straight hearings already. And that's why I gave specific instructions to bring them over. The other question I'd like to have also, Mr. President, is the wisdom. The gentleman is a distinguished graduate of PMA. I sometimes wonder about the wisdom of sending PMA cadets or PMA graduates to a place that is a stink pot or a cesspool of corruption. And we can see, and you mentioned even General Icarba. Did the gentleman find it incongruous for a Marine captain, an integre, by the name of Eldon, to have under his supervision and control a 2-star general who is well respected internationally? I found it weird. Or for that matter, a colonel, Estrella.
In fact, he was given his 3rd star during his stint
In
with
Israel.
the United Nations
Yes,
in
that's right.
Israel.
The Middle East.
He was defrocked after his tour of duty because that was only temporary, just to be at par with his counterpart.
That's correct.
And his services there was requested to be extended. That's how snappy he was. No,
I know. When I spoke with him, Your Honor, I was very impressed with him. The bearing, tall guy, and seemed to be very well regarded. But when I saw his name in the list, I was crestfallen because that is your whole thesis. If we don't clean up customs, anybody you put in there will be snake bit. They will imbibe of the poison of corruption. Now, the wisdom of putting in military, especially a group like Magdalo, that has said at least 2 coup d'etats in our country, is that wise? I mean,
well,
I'd step back.
As things turn out, I would say it's not wise.
It's not wise, yes. It's not wise because you have a group of people, classmates, if you will, and we had that situation in the immigration department, if you remember, Mr. yung chair, yung head ng Commissioner of Immigration and the head of intelligence, they were from the same class. And now, you have several of them. When you mentioned Maestro Campo, Captain Maestro Campo, and Captain Gambala. And, you know, I could not help but notice one of our colleagues in that class also was exculpating them right away, but bearing down on Eldon. I found that weird and unusual. But I'm only saying that not to cast aspersion on our colleague here, but to say that when you have somebody like a classmate there, it is harder for you to put pressure on him to be honest, and to when he fools around, it's harder for you to discipline him. And you have the honor code. You know, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not cheat. And you should not allow your fellow cadets not to lie, to steal, and cheat. But in this particular case, it would appear that my first question to Taguba yesterday is, saan ka nagsimula kung magkukurap ka ng Tara? And he said IAS, and IAS was under Maestro Campo.
That is correct.
And so therefore, Mr. President,
he was the first to offer his resignation when his name was mentioned.
Courtesy resignation.
Courtesy resignation.
Which is not a resignation. So I think we're both agreed that it's dangerous just to put in a bunch of people. First of all, is there any danger, for example, that they could be raising money for a political party like Magdalo? Is there any danger, for example, that they could be raising money to buy arms for another coup? I mean, the imagination can go wild, and with all this, so it goes into judgment of the president. So we can say that the president must be very, very careful in appointing, because he has a tendency to appoint a lot of our friends in the military. And now you have General, whom I also consider an upright man, La Peña. And I think he was appointed there, not just for customs, but principally to stop the drug flow. Would you agree with that, sir?
Yes, I agree with that. I think he has another twin purpose for that matter.
Because
as I mentioned in my previous speech, market constriction is just one aspect of the two-pronged strategy. It's just one side. Because if you allow free flow of drugs supply, then, and I was talking to PIDEA about this, and they noticed that in spite of seizure upon seizure of high quantities, big quantities of methamphetamine, still the price of shabu doesn't seem to go higher.
Yeah,
no?
It's
stable. It's not decreasing.
That's
so they're wondering, and the answer would be in the Bureau of Customs, because they stopped smuggling through the high seas, because it's more convenient to bring in drugs through the regular ports.
In one bulk, to customs. The door is open. You bring in one bulk.
And it's more economical, because they will have only to pay, what, 40,000 for the VAT, and then some amount for Tara. Maybe if they do it through the high seas, meaning pure smuggling, will be paying for the coast guard,
boats,
fishermen,
transportation.
So
Comes
they
along
found
the way.
a more economical way of importing shabu.
I agree with the gentleman again, Mr. President, because when you bring it through customs, it really is very simple. There are less moving parts and there is less people to pay. And it comes into the biggest market of them all, Manila, Mega Manila. So having said that, Mr. President, the other thing that concerns me, for example, is two victims of assassinations. Number one is La Chica. And there are rumors that there was a big argument the night before he was killed.
I heard that too, Mr. President.
And of course, Mr. Marasigan, a friend of mine, Michael Marasigan is a known, and I gave a privilege speech here the other day, this person who was an editor of one of the respected papers in our country, Business World. And he was part and parcel of the staff of Secretary Dominguez in the expose involving one big major cigarette company that was bringing in a lot of tobacco products. Would you say that there is some connection to that as well?
I have no information, Mr. President.
But as a seasoned policeman, I'm not
your
asking you to...
speculation is as good as mine. So, and you're more knowledgeable. I believe you have more information coming your way than I do.
My information will always pale in comparison to your primary sources, Mr. President. And that is not to try and praise you, but to try and state the fact. The gentleman is very, very famous for his ability to pry out data from other agencies, and we commend him for that. And I'm proud to be associated with him here. But the point that I would like to bring also is that major observations about things that are happening there. For example, it's not just military, but for example, there was a lady there that you named who was the daughter of another police colonel, Obilius, J. Obilius. She was in my office that night crying and shaking, and she wanted to see me. And I said, why? What are you afraid of? If you know something, tell us. She says, I'm not involved, but I'd like to talk to Senator Lacson. And I said, fine, why don't you talk to Senator Lacson? But she was assigned in the office of La Chica. Was there any information in your sources to indicate that La Chica was also tainted or involved?
On the other hand, Mr. President, the information that I got about the late La Chica is that he was a straight guy.
Correct.
So he was respected, and when he died, I